All right, moving on to my last little bit here. Under a headline that I have as More Trouble in Maga Land. Both Marjorie Taylor Greene and Madison Cawthorn are now facing primary challenges, and I will quote from one Dave Weigel in the Washington Post, reporting on this in the trailer. This is a quote from Jennifer Strahan, a healthcare consultant challenging Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Quote, if people are so busy critiquing everything you say and not willing to actually hear you because you don't have a message that resonates, then it's distracting from really bringing results back to the district. The main point here seemed to be that there is a minor backlash to these guys just being super online and yelling on Twitter or TikTok or wherever they are. A small but genuine dissatisfaction with just being the kind of celebrity representative. Do we think that these challenges to these notable MAGA representatives will go anywhere?
They're big long shots. The Cawthorn one is a little more serious because you've got they're both serious. They're both serious people challenging them, but you have a very funny situation where Cawthorn announced he was going to move to a safer seat, and then they redrew the map so that seat didn't exist. So he moved back to his old seat. And literally had a fundraiser scheduled called Welcome Home Madison that they canceled because they realized that sounded bad. But and also he's just a guy. He's 27 at this point, but he just was a politics guy who wanted to be powerful, and now he is. Whereas Green, I think, just is she represents a MAGA constituency that I think is pretty powerful. Is the yoga? Well, we mentioned yoga a lot. Is the CrossFit woman who made it on her own as a business, all that stuff. Like she is less relevant in Congress than Cawthorn, but has made in that district, I think, fewer enemies. But both of them are right in line with the Trump style of politics. Is if you want to piss off liberals because they drive you crazy, look how good I am at it. I mean, that's why I think Cawthorn might just be so incompetent that Republicans can be convinced to vote for somebody else because they're not running as vote for them and I will vote for me instead of Cawthorn or Green, and I will team up with Mitt Romney. They're all running as MAGA conservatives, and they're just like, wouldn't it be great if we had a MAGA person who was not ineffective getting made fun of all the time? So like, do they convince people actually when they're getting made fun of it's bad? Because that's not where they're at right now.
No, they like it. Yeah. I think that's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of getting made fun of and pissing off liberals, let's move to my last item here, which is the Dem opponent for Lauren Boebert. This is Alex Walker, who made waves on Twitter last week for posting intentionally obnoxious TikToks, basically calling leftists whiny, entitled bitches for not getting on board with the platform of suck it up and believe in nothing.
I love when people are like,
you have a moderate policy, you lost my vote.
Oh, what vote was that? Was that the vote you were going to give to some Bernie wannabe whose overkill policies are unpopular with 75% of voters, just so you could feel good about yourself until they lose the general election, at which point you'll point your finger and blame someone else? That vote? Oh, honey, your vote got lost a long time ago. Democrats need to wake up. Jesus, in order to legislate, we have to win. Go to walkerforcolorado.com and stop complaining.
Dave, you recently wrote about Alex Walker. What is your take on this strategy?
Yeah, I teamed up with Taylor Lorenz, who did the interview with him. We were both on that beat of the. This is a new-ish thing. Like the last 6 years, you can run as the make people angry candidate and raise millions of dollars and not win. I mean, like conservatives did this forever, that have direct mail firms that just like spammed your grandpa and grandma's mailboxes and said, this is the candidate who can fight the liberal fascists. Same thing with online money. But these are happening in races where the party in November is just giving up. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Democrats aren't competing there. They're not competing against Cawthorn. Their only hope is in the primary, somebody beats them. So these guys are just vacuuming money for no reason. And you could tell there's some annoyance among, I could say, elite liberals on this. I mean, Crooked Media had this whole Ditch Mitch campaign in 2020, like a site where you give money and you split it between other candidates, in part because they didn't want people to just keep giving to Amy McGrath to like set money on fire for a race they couldn't win. So these guys are going to, I think, suck up millions of dollars and not win is their story. That's different than the primary challenger to Cawthorn, this guy Chuck Edwards, like could maybe get into runoff and maybe beat him, but no Democrat's going to beat him.
Matt, I almost hesitate to throw this question to you just because I don't want to, give this guy air for us dastardly Bernard brothers, making fun of him. But do you have a take on the liberal attempt at the pissing people off via the internet scheme?
As Dave said, it's very effective at making money. It's can't necessarily win you an election, although, as I was saying, it really does show the radical asymmetry really in the two parties and their dynamic relationship to their base and how that relates to the electoral prospects. J.D. Vance can needle liberals until he amuses the Trump family enough to win a primary for a toss-up Senate seat that will then go probably towards the Republican because of the year it is. This guy can probably make a bunch of money and maybe get a nomination where there is no chance of the Democrat winning. That's the only place where that kind of approach can get any traction, is where the party itself isn't just like squatting over the electoral territory, which is true of anywhere that's remotely for grabs. So all they can ever do is just suck money and attention, and he's doing it, and God bless him. He'll probably do it forever. He'll never stop. I hope he never stops. I hope he continues doing TikToks. I hope he starts doing cameos. I hope he starts OnlyFans. I love him.
Well, that brings me to the end of my outline. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your insights. I guess I will just flip it to you guys. Any final thoughts about the state of these elections? Any races I might have missed covering? Anything that you want to touch on before we sign off?
I'd say it's the most important election of our lifetime. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. No, I mean, you laid it out pretty well. I'd say find out what district you live in, because that's weird now. That's going to be new, and just there's going to be a bunch of stuff that pops on the map because people are so angry. So don't look at any outcome as crazy. I think if people 6 months ago were like JD Vance, yeah, don't be like
we
that.
were doing that. Now we're on.
don't do that. Be ready for insanity, because we're gonna get some.
Anything from you, Matt?
To the polls. Let's Pokemon Go to those polls, folks. It's very important. It might not be important, but in certain countries you can bet on it, so it's still fun.
Well, that will include the first installment of the Beltway Phoenix. Hopefully, once we get a little further and these elections go from the primaries to the generals, maybe we will reconvene this panel to discuss what the situation is looking up closer towards November. But until then, I do have one plug that I'm just going to get in real quick. Maybe you've seen from online if you follow these things, but Chapo Trap House is playing a music festival this summer. That's right. We are reteaming with our friends from the Frequency Festival to the actual IRL festival they put on every year outside of Portland. It is called Pickathon. We will be playing on August 6th at the Pickathon Music Festival. You can go to pickathon.com to pick up tickets there. A lot of great bands playing there. I mean, Built to Spill, come on. I hope they play Dystopian Dream Girl at that show. Gorilla Toss will be there. Love them. A bunch of other great acts. And you'll get to see us in a fun outdoor setting. I've been told that Pickathon is one of the best festivals in the country. And as a fest head myself, I'm very excited to be going there. I know, Matt, you are very excited to be playing a festival as well.
Absolutely. I want to soak in those vibes.
Great. So that is August 6th at the Pickathon Music Festival. That's pickathon.com to pick up your tickets. We will also be doing a Frequency live stream of the set, which we will have information on how you can buy tickets to just watch online, do your own little Couchcella if you want to watch our set there. We'll have more information about that coming up. Dave, of course, you are in Washington Post. You have the trailer. Anything specifically you would like to plug?
No, we have a relaxing the paywall sometimes. If you hate paywalls, come to us, because there are pretty good odds that we're going to have it down that day. You can read all of our politics content.
I will also take this chance to plug Dave's great book on progressive rock, The Show That Never Ends. We've covered it on Introducing. A good read if you like reading about the history of prog rock, which I do as well. So buy that too. I know you're way out of book cycle, but take a look at that. Until then, thanks for listening. Keep your eyes on the polls. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.